Okay, this is a video on how you can draw a nice mossy forest picture. And we're going to start by holding our paper in the landscape direction. That means you're holding your paper sideways because we're going to make a nice scene. You don't want to hold your paper in the opposite direction. You're not going to have as much space to fit everything. And we're going to start this picture off with a horizon line. A horizon line is just a horizontal line that's off in the distance that shows us where the ground ends and the sky begins. And I'm drawing this lightly with the pencil. Most of this line is going to completely disappear as we're drawing the picture, but it's good for us to have this here to understand how this is going to work. And a lot of times when we're trying to make a forest look three-dimensional, we're going to want things that are closer to the front of us to be bigger and lower on the ground, and things that are further back in the picture to be closer to this horizon line and much smaller. So I am actually going to start this picture off. You can use a pencil to start. I think if I use a pencil, maybe I have a dark pencil here that you guys can see. And I'm just going to start drawing some bigger trees that are in the front. Maybe there's a big wide tree that's right in the front of my picture here, and it's going to go right off the page. You're just looking at the trunk in this picture. You're not going to see any of the leaves or any of the branches that are on top of it. Okay. Then maybe I want another tree over here. I'm going to make this one a little smaller and a little higher up in the picture. There's my trunk. And then I'm just going to try and fill the picture with some more trunks that are smaller and closer to this horizon line, and all of different sizes. The more variation you have in here, the better. That means the more differences you have in between the trees. You can even make, if you want, a couple of branches coming off. Like that. Some really small ones back here. That's going to make your picture look more 3D, like you're actually in the forest. Some trees are closer to you, some trees are further away. Okay. Then the rest of this picture is basically going to be filling in these trees with all of the different greenery that we're seeing. So there should be a lot of moss and greenery happening in these trees. And we're going to make the sun be coming in from like right here. And if the sun's coming in from this direction, we're going to want a lot of highlights on some of these trees. So we're going to start with a highlight color. So I'm going to see if I have a marker here that would be a good highlight color. So it's going to be a super light color coming in on the sides of these trees. And they're all going to be on the left-hand side of the trees that are on this side of the sun. Like the sun's coming in and shining on these edges of the trees. I'm also going to color in some spots on the ground here that are super light colored. Okay, and then I'm going to add my highlights to the opposite sides of these trees. I'm going to make my highlight a little thicker on this big tree here. All right, from there, I think the next step is going to be everything above my horizon line that's not a tree. I am going to color a sky color to show that that's kind of where the sky is supposed to be or at in this picture. I might end up covering this and overlapping this with some greenery, like as if there's a lot of plants underneath those trees. But I am just going to color some of this space in. And that's, a lot of this is just so I'm not getting confused about where the sky is and where the trees are, because there's a lot of details going on back here to keep track of. Okay, and I'm going to end that there. I'm going to say the rest of this part is going to be more green for the forest. So now you can kind of start to see some of this stuff taking shape. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the dark sides to these trees. So I'm going to go with a darker brown. And color the rest of the trees in with that dark brown. You want to think about different tree bark has different types of textures. So if you're coloring these trees in, you can try and leave some spaces in there to kind of make it look like there's some texture to it. Or you can color them in a nice solid smooth color because there are plenty of trees out there that have really smooth bark in the forest. Okay, even if you wanted to go back with your brown and just add a couple more trees here and there, you can always go in and add some more. That's these little details that are really going to make this picture work. Okay, now the rest of the picture is just going to be straight up greenery. It's just going to look like a textured forest. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it. You could use crayon, you could use marker, you could use both. You can go in and say, well, a lot of times these bushes that are in the forest, they kind of look like curly. So I'm making like little circles to add some texture to it. You can go in and color in little round circles. That's one way to do it. You can make some of them look like grass and color in straight up and down lines to add this look like there's some grass. You can even just kind of scribble in the bottom too. That's going to help give it the look that there's just a lot of going on there. You can add different shades of green to your picture. There's nothing saying that the green in the forest is all one single green color. So if you have different colors that are all in the green family that you want to use, that's a good way to do it. And then you're just going to fill the rest of this in. You can even add some of this green texture up in the sky to show that some of these trees have some leaves that are up here. That's what I plan to do over here to fill the whole picture in. Okay, so good luck drawing your forest. Have some fun with it. Hope it turns out well. And here's my finished picture.